Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by my channel and joining me for today's video. I'm excited for this one because this is going to be my very first time trying Shine by SD. And this is a brand that I had on my brands to try in 2022, so I feel pretty blessed to be trying it halfway through the year here. I'm also feeling very excited that the brand decided to release the As Above, So Below shades on their own as singles. I talked about the two palettes in that video, and you know, while I really wanted to support the wonderful collaborators, I just couldn't do it. This is a pricey brand, and there really were only a few shadows in each set that I felt like I really wanted. So I was hoping at some point that they would release them as singles, and the brand now has for a limited time. I'm not sure if they're still available. I will look into that. If they aren't, I'll notate it here. But I was like, yep, gotta snag some of these. So I snagged 2 from each set, and then I also snagged 1 from another series. So I do have 5 shadows to swatch with you today. And of course, we'll be doing an eye look. Probably just gonna do something kind of simple. I think I say that every single time, and then sometimes I end up with like eyeshadow out here. So we'll see how far this goes. But I'm really wanted to start small. I wanted to start small, see how I feel about this brand. Now I had planned on placing an order on Black Friday, and when I jumped on the site, I thought I had like written a few down and I wanted to browse a bit more, and I was like overwhelmed with the amount of shadows that this brand has. So I thought this would be a good little appetizer before I jump into a 3-course meal. So of course I'm going to give you swatches of these shades. We'll do a little playtime on my Face, but if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos, like perhaps me trying more brands from my list for the year. And by the way, I will have that video linked down below if you want to see what else I'm wanting to check out. I have gotten a couple things off of that list so far, but let's go ahead and dive in. I'll zoom you a little bit. We can do some swatches. All right, as I'd mentioned before, I did get 2 shades from the As Above and 2 shades from the So Below collection, and 1 shade that honestly I saw on Instagram. I saw swatches and I was like, whoa baby. So here's the other thing. In the pan, in the pan, these actually all kind of have a little bit of a similar vibe. Good God, I'm hoping that they're like different enough that I won't regret this. Like I said, these are not inexpensive shadows, at least not all of them. I mean, some of them are a fair price. So I see shadows anywhere from $6, $9, $17, $19. This is in Canadian dollars, by the way, because this is a Canadian makeup brand. I mean, they're not the highest price, but they're also not like looksy beauty, right? So I am getting to the point now where it's like, don't buy any more than like 4 or 5 shadows of a brand that you've never tried, because who knows. But I seem to have been having a vibe. I seem to have been having a vibe. And if you know me, you will know that like purple is not, it's not necessarily like my #1 jam. So I don't know. I think I'm also though recently trying to buy shades that I don't necessarily already have in my collection. So what we'll do is we'll swatch these out, and then I will root through my collection and see if I have anything that is a dupe, so that if you were curious about any of these, you won't have to dupe yourself in case I do, because Lord knows it's happened before. So I'm going to turn down my lights just a little bit so that you can get a bit more of an accurate representation, and then hopefully we can catch any shifty business going on. So I did look, by the way, and the Duality collection, which is of course the As Above and So Below palettes, they are still available as singles. And then it looks like there's a lot that the brand is having on sale right now to basically wipe off the site. So it's like all the sale products are just like going to be gone forever. So you might want to take a little browse if you are a sale shopper. All right, so we are going to start out with this shade Flirtatious. So again, this is the one that I saw on Instagram, and it just looked so impactful and beautiful. I have to say, I definitely appreciate that the brand not only has the shade name, but it has the collection that it's from on the back. I like that as a creator. You probably won't care if you're not a creator, but as a creator, I like this because sometimes I'm referring to some shades, and at this point, I mean, eventually I'm going to be like, what Divina collection was that from? So like, it's really nice. It's nice to have that on the back. So we will go ahead and swatch this one out. Of course, I'm just doing this with a dry finger, and I'm also just putting this on my dry skin. But okay, so this again is Flirtatious. This is really a very, very pretty shade. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those ones that like on the eye when it's like built up. There you go, like just even with the second swatch. I mean, wow, that is really pretty. So you can see it has that beautiful like deeper violet base, but it has so much beautiful like shift to it. It isn't quite as like, you know, you don't see as much depth as you do in the pan, but that could just be like maybe when we use a wet brush, more of that will come out. But wow, that is very shiny, very, very shiny. And looking up close, let me just take a peek here. So when I have this and I'm looking up close, I can see that purple base. I can almost see a pink flip. And then it has like a ton of like gold and purple and almost even like a slight little bit of like a green flip to it. That's very pretty. Now we're gonna start out with the As Above collection. So the first shade that I picked up is Fairy Stone. So this is another, I mean, almost all of them are basically like purples or pinks. I was having a moment, just not sure. Okay, so this one feels a little bit drier in the pan, like not as emollient. So you can see, my fingers, I swear to God, they look so dirty, but I was just swatching before. We just did our red, white, and blue palettes for the BYOP series, and I think it's from like trying to swatch those. Like, so I think it's from, you know, swatching all the shades that I was trying to pick out for that. I swear to God, I have clean hands, y'all. All right, so this one is, wow. Okay, so I honestly feel like, like legit, I honestly feel like this one is the flip. Very, maybe not. It's not as warm toned of a flip as this one here. But this obviously has way more of that purple base to it, whereas this one is almost like an iridescent. It doesn't really have a heavy base to it, or it's almost that like grape base. It's gonna be different, I think, than most of what I have, but I can already say like, oh, maybe this wasn't one that I like absolutely needed. It's probably gonna make a really banging layering shade or like an inner corner shade. So then we have Mountain Magic. And this one is a bit warmer. It's like, it looks to be almost like a maroon to plum with a lot of different like gold and multicolored flakes to it. Or multicolored sparkles, not really flakes. This one feels pretty smooth. A little bit more emollient again. Yeah, you can probably see there, that's like more high shine. Why do I look, I just feel like when I bring my hands up to the camera, I look like gray almost. I'm not sure what's happening there. Ooh. That's pretty. That's very pretty. Definitely more of that warmth. You have that like reddish gold with a little bit of like a pinky plum flip to it. Oh, this one though, like up close, I think on the eye, wow, that's gonna be so pretty because it has like a lot of shimmer to it. Like tiny, tiny, tiny little micro shimmer to it. Very, very pretty. All right, now moving to the So Below collection, we have Nightmare Eyes. This one, some of these just look a little like so-so in the package. Like I feel like honestly, it's kind of the pan. It's the pan because it's this sort of like matte gunmetal shade, like almost like a black. I don't know, there's just something like these shadows don't feel, the pans feel a little like less luxurious, if that's even a possibility. So again, this is Nightmare Eyes, and you can see that there on my dirty looking finger. Ugh. Oh, these are kind of close. Okay. Okay, I have to say, I'm kind of surprised that these two are so close. They are so close. And when Lisa and Monica picked their shades, I mean, maybe they just both, they're ever so slightly different. Like I literally, in the pan, they look more different than they do here. I would say that Mountain Magic is warmer. Like you can see, it's warmer in the base and also well, it's darker in the base and has a warmer flip to it. But you definitely, in my opinion, you don't need both of these. That's a little bit of a bummer. In the swatches online, Mountain Magic looks like it has way more of a green little flip to it. I mean, probably if it just hits the light right, maybe it will. It just looked like very much multicolored. I mean, obviously lighting will make a big difference, but I mean, I feel like I have my lights to the point where I should be getting a good amount of difference, and I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. So, okay. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and swatch this one. So the one that I was really most excited for was this one, and this is Bizarre. So this one I just felt like was very different than some other things in my collection. I do have to say right away, I'm kind of thinking of the One Terra Moons shade that I ended up picking up just recently. So we will get that one out and swatch. I mean, it's definitely got more of like a greeny gray base to it. Okay, there we go. So that's like my center light is like basically off. So here you can see the green is not as strong by any means as what is coming up online on this picture. Yeah, nor is it in the pan at all. But you can see that pinky flip. Huh. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and peruse through my collection to see what I have that might be like similar swatches, and I'll give you guys some palm swatches so that we can see some possible dupes. So here's another look at these shades. I'm gonna get my green nails out of the picture there. So they're definitely a bit dustier, not dusty as in like texture, but a little bit more grayed out than I would say that I thought they were going to be. Like this one, it just looked like a much more vibrant green, although when I'm looking at it, it does pick up a little bit more vibrant than what you're seeing here. But that Mountain Magic shade, I'm not seeing all those colors in it like they were presented. This one now, like at the right angle, I can definitely see a lot more of that. Okay, now we're gonna get to swatches. All right, I'm glad that we don't have a dupe. That's the whole point, is to not be buying dupes, but I thought that these might be similar and they're not. This is Bizarre. So you can see this has that green gray base with that pink flip, whereas Quasar from Terra Moons is more green with a slight pink flip to it. In fact, like next to Bizarre, it doesn't look like it has any pink to it just because of the intensity of that one. So that's really fun. I'm glad. I mean, a couple of these, like I don't necessarily think I needed them. I still think that these are still so similar to have in, while I understand that they were two different palettes, they did launch at the same time as a collab. And so I feel like they're just too similar to have in one collection, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and try these out on the face. All right, so I'm actually just going to use a couple mattes from the ColourPop and Kathleen Light Zodiac palette. This is in my deck of panning this month, so I think I'm probably, in all honesty, just going to use the Libra, this shade here, and then probably pull in some of this like plummy shade Sagittarius. For me right now, it's really about like getting these shimmers on the lid, so I'm actually going to start with the shimmers and then I'll just like blend out. So since Bizarre was the one that I really, really wanted to have, it's going to be the one that I start with. And I'm just going to put this on. I have a Rephr 28 brush right here, and I'm going to wet my brush. I just can tell, I feel like these shadows are going to need this. And I do just have concealer on my eyes. I don't have a like eyeshadow primer. 9 times out of 10, I'm not using an eyeshadow primer. So I'll go ahead and pop this color on. I mean, this is very pretty. Okay, now that it's on, you're seeing more of that like greeny turquoisey flip. But I do have to say I had to like pack it on a little bit more. So honestly, the texture of this shadow, this particular one, it reminds me a little bit of some of the Pretties for Your Face shadow textures, where it's like a little bit drier and almost more, I mean, this has beautiful shift to it. It just isn't a wet looking metallic shift. It's almost like a satin shift. Like very, very shifty, just not as shiny and metallic. I do really like how intensely shifty this one is though. So I don't even know. I don't think, like, I think the green of my shirt is like totally throwing this off. I'm definitely gonna have to change later because this green is not gonna match at all. So you can see, I mean, how quickly it shifts from, like, you see more of that like pink shine and then you see the green under base. It's really pretty. I'm definitely liking it much more on my eyes than I was on my arm. So now I think I'm gonna go through with that Mountain Magic shade. I think I need to do that just because I was a little like bummed out. I'm not bummed out by the shadow itself. It just, I feel like, was like, you know, when you're doing like marketing swatches or anything like that, like you can really just take the time to get the perfect light to get every single like shifty moment out of a shadow. And so I just want to see what it's going to be like in like average lighting. And that, by the way, is something I had someone say to me, like, oh, you know, I think it was Angelica Nyquist, like she'll turn her lights like way down. Like, hold on. Angelica did not tell me this. A viewer was saying like, oh, I've seen Angie do that. And then you can really see it. And it's like, yeah, but who's going to be sitting in the half dark? Like, I definitely want to turn my lights down to more realistic expectations because like not everyone is walking around with like 3 lights. You know, but I don't want it to be like so off that that like, oh, the only way you're gonna see the magic, the major shift of this is to like be in perfect lighting. To me, that doesn't really make sense. Okay, I'm definitely seeing more shift from this one too, but I think I'd have to have it all over the lid to really be a judge of that. That's the thing about, like, I feel like most of the time with multi-chromes, like with really special shades, we're mostly going to use it over at least 2/3 of the lid just to really be able to see it. But I do like the shade. When I'm looking here in the mirror, I can see a little bit of the green. I can see almost like a little bit of purple. It's definitely more magical on the eyeball when you get the nice curvature of the eye. And yeah, I would say that these shadows, they don't have the creamiest feel to them. They are definitely more like a mid creamy. You know what I'm saying? Gosh, that Bizarre shade, it really does look like I put on at least 2 shadows in the area where that one is, for sure. I mean, I feel like I could just like wear this and like be good to go. You know, I'm probably, in all honesty, I'm probably just going to use that Libra shade and just like blend out the edges a little bit. This is very pretty. These do have a really nice specialness to them. They are more, I'm going to say the base to them isn't as shiny. It's the little tiny sparkle flecks that go in through it that make it have that shine and shimmer and shift. So it's not like a high metallic whoa. It's more about the sparkles that are in the shadow, in my opinion. So now let's just go ahead. I'm just going to take a crease brush. Let's just grab one here. I just pulled out the Rephr 14. That'll work. And I'm just going to take this Libra shade and just give a little blend. Okay, now for kicks and giggles, and because we have it here, I am going to take that Fairy Stone shade. That's from the As Above collection, and I'm going to use that as my inner corner. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to try it dry. I just don't feel like this is picking up much. I'm using a Wayne Goss. Oh my gosh, I've had this one, the number, the 20, I'm using the Wayne Goss 20. The number is like almost worn off. So I'm just going to pop this in here. Yeah. This is one that I probably didn't need. I would say out of the whole bunch so far, this is probably like, you know, just kind of like, oh, okay. Okay, so I think what I'll do, I don't necessarily want to use something like this one. This is from the Dynasty 2 collection. No, Dynasty Series 1. This shade, Flirtatious. So the formula of this makes me think of the Odin's Eye multi-chromes. Like, I'm going to be excited to use this one next time. I don't think I'm going to use it today because honestly, I feel like it's almost too it's gonna like blow these ones out of the water, I feel like, as far as like shine goes. So these are, again, they're like more of like a satin feel with like tons of like multi-chrome shimmer, like tiny, tiny, tiny little like fairy dust. Whereas this is like more of that like high metallic. So, okay, just wanted to come back really quick so that you could see the final look. I really just threw on some black liner, and I did end up using a little bit of that dark purple shade, this one right here, in the palette, just on my lower lash line. I just wanted to keep it soft. I like this. It's very, you know, it's very shifty, very sheeny. It's just not super metallic, and that's okay. That is okay. I hope that the lighting and everything is doing this justice. Obviously, like I said, anytime that you're putting like trying to showcase 3 multi-chromes, it gets a little hard in one look. But let's go ahead and zoom out. I'll give you my final thoughts on these. So, Shine by SD. So, first of all, I have to say I am so glad that I got my hands on Bizarre. That shade is just, it's gonna be so much fun to work with. I really do like it. I will say, and I cannot remember one of these was like a kind of like last minute, might as well while I'm ordering kind of thing. And now I'm just not even sure which one it was. I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember which one I threw into my order at the last minute. I was like, well, I might as well just get this other one too. It might have been, was it Fairy Stone? Honestly, I don't remember, but I will say Fairy Stone is the one shade that I'm like, I didn't really need that one. I mean, obviously it's makeup. I didn't need any of it. I am very excited to use this Flirtatious shade from the Dynasty 1 series. I can definitely see myself picking up more shades from that series because it's the texture that I really like. Like I said, it really reminds me a bit more of the Oden's Eye multi-chrome formula, where it's a little bit more emollient, it's more metallic, whereas like these are just more like sheeny, in my opinion. So I am not by any means like disappointed in what I ordered. Like I said, I think I'm really going to love a couple of these shades in here. I definitely love the Flirtatious shade. Well, I definitely think I'm gonna love it. I obviously haven't put it on my eyeballs yet, but this is really about trying the formulas. And these weren't on sale, by the way. That's why I like really limited my order also, because I was like, if I'm not gonna get a sale at all, like I don't really want to go ham. But it was the fact that it was limited time that these were available as singles, so I did still save myself a lot of money compared to buying both of the palettes or even one of the palettes. Now, I could see myself trying a couple more shades. Probably my next Shine by SD order isn't going to be until Black Friday. I will probably order a few more of the Dynasty 1 series, and then maybe like one shade from a couple of the other series to be able to try. That's what I'm saying now. We'll see. I'll look back on this, and if I've got like a $300 Shine by SD order next time, you guys can all roll your eyes at me because I'll be doing the same, rolling them at myself. But I do enjoy having tried these out. I definitely need to play with these a little more. This is obviously very much a first impressions video, but you'll have to let me know if you have Shine by SD shadows. Let me know what your favorite series is. Let me know what your favorite shades are. Am I like missing something? Do you feel like I'm being harsh on the brand? I'm not saying that I don't like them. I just feel like they're definitely, like I said, it reminds me a little bit more of the Pretties for Your Face multi-chromes, where they're just more like satin sheeny as opposed to like ba-bam. At least the ones from both the As Above and the So Below collection. So that's my thoughts. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I am, again, going to be very interested to try a few more of the formulas from this brand. Like I said, it was on my wish list for this year to try out. I'm glad I got to do it, and I'm glad you came along for the ride. So thank you so much. It does mean so much to me that you take some time out of your day to spend it with me. That is going to be it for today, and I will see you really soon.